America's third largest airline, Delta, is to impose a $200 monthly charge on employees who are not vaccinated against COVID. It's the latest attempt by a big firm to persuade staff to get jabbed. A number of U.S. companies, including United Airlines, Goldman Sachs and Microsoft, have all mandated shots for employees. Well, let's talk to the employment lawyer, Adam Savaglio. Adam, welcome to the program. $200 monthly surcharge on unvaccinated staff. You lawyers are going to be laughing all the way to the bank. This can't be lawful, surely.
It does to a certain extent. I mean, we're in an unprecedented time. Lawyers work from legal precedent, but with respect to employers in North America, United States and Canada, as part of any employment contract, is an underlying duty to protect all workers in the workplace, and that includes unvaccinated workers.
I appreciate different countries have different laws. A growing number of employers have announced their own vaccine mandates. Can employers legally ask their employees whether they've received the COVID vaccine and ask for proof of vaccination?
Yes, they can, and it has to be limited with respect to the medical information that's requested. But it goes back to what I first said about the underlying obligation of every employer to provide a workplace that's healthy and safe, and that includes that unvaccinated worker. So in requesting documentation or proof of evidence of a vaccination, it complies with their duties, and in certain jurisdictions, that can go up to personal liability, but it goes to an extent, obviously.
The aviators' labour union, the Airline Pilots Association, has repeatedly said vaccination should be voluntary for its members. So what about the rights of the passenger? What are the legal rights here?
Well, that obviously gets a little confusing given you get into international airs. But, fundamentally, if you're in a confined area where you're dealing with face-to-face contact with an individual who might be able to transmit that vaccine, and the CDC's gotten a little complex with who can transmit the latest Delta variant, but certainly an individual who's traveling would expect the same safety precautions, that they wouldn't be exposed to any additional risk of harm, and that falls upon employers like Delta to ensure that a workplace is not only safe for their workers, but for their patrons. And this overriding obligation or concern of, hey, my goodwill or my reputation may be irreparably harmed by individuals who use my services and then claim that an employee transmitted that COVID-19.
Well, your word is confusing. Here's another word for you, chaos. I mean, it's a potential legal shambles, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what we're going to see is, deducting from employees from their wages towards the coverage, the health coverage, additional health coverage, public systems, private systems. Really, the courts have been backlogged since the commencement of the pandemic, and really trying to work this out, do it with a cooperation. In this case, there's a union involved, which would hopefully give rise to a resolution. But really, what we're going to see is workplaces have to figure out how to manage, and that maybe calls upon the government, but really manage government mandates, health and safety of workers, and then the reputational risks that come from transmitting to clients, customers, in this case, passengers on an airplane.
Adam, I'm sure we'll return to the subject in coming months, but for the moment, good to talk to you. Thank you very much, Adam Savaglio.